Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves another week. We're here in isolation. We're knocking it out. Just first and foremost, I know that it kind of blends in and the days blend in, but remember that each time you show up for this is valuable. You're doing something good for your health. And so right off the bat, I just want to acknowledge you for being proactive about, making it to these classes and making the time to keep yourself healthy. As I'm speaking in the beginning, you'll see Sarah doing kind of some light warm-ups in the background. So feel free to do whatever you're comfortable with, what you have your own routine, or you could just mimic what she's doing as well, and that's totally cool. I'm just going to go over our basics. I don't really have anything new to go over today, so essentially we're going through our same programming where we're going to have our full range of motion movements for 40 seconds, where we're then going to follow that with some pulsing movements for 20 seconds. And then we've got 2 new cardio movements today to back end at both of our full range times. So we'll go over those as that comes up in the beginning of the workout. We do have slightly more condensed warm-ups, slightly more condensed stretches. And then we've got our Tabata series that will wrap up the workout end of things. We've got 3 rounds of Tabata today, 20 10s for those. And of course, we'll go over those movements as they come up. Beyond that, our regular stuff. So if you'd like to join us in going barefoot, let's start the barefoot revolution happening around here. Proprioception, I want you to try to find and feel what we should be through this. So identifying which muscle groups are associated with which exercises and finding those through the motion. I'll do my best to call it out verbally. I want you physically to do your best to find it and feel it throughout the movement. Beyond that, if you got your own music, now is a fantastic time to hit the play button on that. YouTube's gotten a little saucy with us. They weren't real happy about our volume levels and our copyrighted music in the back. So I encourage you to play your own music in the background, and we're probably going to have our volume level pretty low over here. If you got any injuries, I want you to be super mindful about that, okay? Don't be afraid to substitute a movement that you're more comfortable with or that you know will keep you safer if one of our movements today isn't working for you. We also have more manageable options for the majority of our movements, as well as power options to take things to the next level if you're feeling really good. And that goes in with my last bit of saying, which is just simply check in with yourself, notice where you're at and how you're feeling coming into the workout, and work out accordingly. If you need a little bit of time to warm up and slowly get into things, do so. If you're coming in here ready to fire right off the bat, then let's do that. Let's make that happen. That's enough of me chit-chatting in the seated position. Let's do some standing. We're going to grab either a pole, a towel. Sarah's got her rubber band that she can use as well. I've got my gardening material here. We're just going to bring the arms all the way up and over and then back in front. So 6 of these where if you need to get further back and your arms aren't allowing you, you take your hands wider, right? Wider approach with the hands should allow you to get depth. And if you can't go all the way back, no biggie. Just go back to where you can and bring it back in front. Go one more. All right, and then we're going to go into the windmill next. So keeping the arms out in front of you, one hand's going to go up and over, and then we're going to circle it around 3 times in one direction. Remember, the arms can be higher if you need to. Once those 3 are done, stop and reverse it. Yeah, so if you needed to be a little bit higher up, this is a lot easier on the shoulders. You can figure out where that works best for you. Next up, we're going to take this onto the shoulders, back of the shoulders. We're going to have our arms kind of a little bit behind us so that you can feel your back muscles. Everyone kind of feel your low shoulder blades, proprioception, where are they? And sit back and down to one side. We're going to push up through the heel and then switch it on over. So this is where we start to warm up a little bit of strength into the legs. I want you to find power through the heels and pushing up with a little bit of power, a little oomph. You breathe in going down, breathe out coming up. Stand on up, come forward to a point where you now have room to step behind you. We're going to bring both arms and keep them up above the head. We're going to step back with our left foot. We're going to turn to the right side with the arms, then bring it back to center, stand tall, and switch. All right, so allow there to be some stretching. If you need to rotate open a little bit extra to feel some extra stretch, I want you to do that. If you want to pull your hands just a little further behind you to identify more stretch in the front of the body, I want you to do that as well. Last one. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and take these and put them away, and we're going to bring ourselves down to the floor. We're going to work on some mobility through the wrists and the forearms. So we're going to put the hands to the floor, but it's palms down with the fingers pointed towards us right here. Fingers pointed towards us. We'll sit back and down, and then we'll come back up, and we'll just kind of gently rock forward and back about 6 times. You want to put a little breathing to it. You can sit back and breathe out. You can come forward, breathe in. Let's go 2 more. And last one. Okay, from here with our right foot, let's step it through. Foot's going to be a little bit further out than the knee. Left hand's going to go behind us. We're going to lean in and breathe in. As we push back, we're going to extend the right leg and go elbow to knee. Breathe back in, lean in, exhale and push back. Now, working on, as you're pushing back, feeling the hamstring here, getting some stretch. Should maybe feel some of that side hip stretching, getting some of that glute medius to open. And let's go one more, last one. Okay, let's just switch that right knee to the floor, that left foot a little further out in front. Right hand is behind us. We're going to lean it in, breathe in. We're going to push back and breathe out. Okay, and same thing. We're just finding balance. We're looking for a moderate level of stretch in our hamstrings here. Don't push it too hard in the beginning. Breathing in, breathing out, and last one. All right. So from here, I'm going to keep my left foot out, and I'm going to put my hands to the floor and just swivel my right knee so that now I'm facing you all, but I'm still keeping this knee at kind of a 90-degree angle straight out. You'll also notice that for both Sarah and I, we've got a stacking, so we can visibly see that our knee is right on top of the ankle. Practice that, and then lean into it, allowing that knee to go way past the toe, and come back up to the tall point. Okay, just practice through this. You should feel some good stretching on the interior thigh. You should feel some strength in that heel as you're trying to push back up. And breathe in as you come down. And breathe out as you come up. Give me one more on this side. Fantastic. Let's switch it. Left knee comes to the floor. Right foot, step it out. Identify knee is stacked on top of that ankle. And let's get moving to that right side. And then getting up nice and tall. Good. So if you can kind of make sure that you're pushing your hips forward just a little bit or tucking even your glutes behind you. And get more out of this. We'll start identifying a little additional stretch. Let's go one more. Inhale forward. Exhale up. That is good. We're going to finish up on the floor doing some bicycles for 30 seconds to call ourselves officially warm. So let's head onto our back. Let's throw some hands behind us. Let's put those feet up into the air. And we'll go 30 seconds, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. We get that opposite elbow to opposite knee crunch. We've got an extended leg, so I want you to push and straighten the leg each and every time and try to flex the foot as you do that for a little additional activity. All right, now finding low back, pushing into the floor. So anchoring the low back to the floor, keep you safe, keep you additionally active. We got 5 seconds, last few, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. All right, folks, you're officially warm. You can take a small breather if you need it. You can practice the movements as we're going to show them to you right now as well. We've got 4 movements that we're showing you. 2 of them are cardio movements, and then 2 of them are going to be your full range of motion plus your pulse options coming up here. So let's go over our first movement, our Bulgarian split squat, a common movement that we often practice. This is done on an elevated surface behind you. So identify if you can put your foot on something. If not, we're going to keep you in just a basic split stance here. Sarah's going to show you that elevated position with the foot. We're going to both sit back and down on that forward heel and push up and get tall. So sitting into it and up and tall. So full range of motion takes you all the way down, all the way up, and that's what we do for the first 40 seconds. Of course, more manageable approach, you could be here and you're just bending the knees a little bit less. Now our pulse follows where we go to the bottom for the following 20, and then she's just barely moving up and down, staying low, but activity is still in that forward heel, okay? Go ahead and come on up, shake that on out. So that's exercise number 1, 40 on, 10 rest, 20 seconds of pulse, 10 rest, and then we do the opposite side. Once we've completed that full circuit, our cardio is different today. It's another movement that you're familiar with. It's our split stance, and then our back leg is going to quickly come up. But you'll notice our front leg, that knee stays bent, and if you'd like to add some arms into this, you can start doing some pull downs as you go through that. So we'll stay on only one side for the cardio the first time, and the second time, that's when we'll switch our sides. I'll call that as we get through. Our second 2 movements, our full range of motion movement for the second movement is the bird dog. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, opposite hand and foot lift up and hold up. Then we're going to meet hand and knee underneath and then extend back out. So this is our full range of motion for 40 seconds. And then from here, our pulse stays up and we just do little heel and hand lift for 20 seconds. Little heel and hand lift for 20. So we'll do that on both sides as your full range of motion as well as your pulse. And then we're going to finish up with cardio, and this is a new cardio movement for us. It is the plank punch. So Sarah's going to show you from her elbows, I'm going to show you from my hands, and then from my knees. We do want our feet to be a little bit wider on this, so we're more stable. And then from here, we're going to do one good punch, bring that hand back into position, and switch. Now, as I've talked about good plank progressions in the past, we don't want the body rocking around a lot. The more you can stay still through this, the more you're going to get out of it. Also, more manageable approach, both knees can be down on the floor, and we can still create that strong hip and core reaction by keeping the hips forward. I don't want your butt up here. If we can keep that good straight line through the body, that's ideally where we're going to get the activity that we're looking for. So I'll coach it through it. Those are the 4 movements that we're going to be working through. Our first is going to be the Bulgarian split squat, and if you'd like to add any weight, like a moderate weight or a heavy weight, you are welcome to it. At the most, we're only going to be pretty much using a single moderate weight today, so just FYI on that. I'm going to go ahead and put 10 seconds on the clock for us here. So you've got officially 10. I want you to get set up into that Bulgarian split squat position, and we get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Sit into it and push up and get strong. Good. So right off the bat, I can see Sarah's got perfect alignment. That knee stays just kind of straight on top of the foot, and that heel in front is where she's driving the power. So her body's weight sits on that heel, and she pushes up and gets nice and strong. Remember, more manageable options, split stance and going straight down in kind of that split lunge position as your more manageable approach. Now we got 10 more seconds, then we rest for 10, and then we do the pulse for 20. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. It's rest for 10, so maybe it's shake out the legs, maybe it's even put the weight down if you'd like. We've got the pulse next, so we go to the bottom in 3, 2, 1. Down to the bottom, little pulses. Not moving much more than just a couple inches up and down, but once again, maintaining that weight in that forward foot, in that heel of that forward foot is ideal. Our last few, we go finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Now prepare to switch. Next side coming up, full range of motion, no time wasted. We get started in 3, 2, 1. Back into that opposite side now, all the way down, all the way up. Good. And so I'm going to move you back just a little bit. Perfect, perfect. So sometimes you can make this slightly more condensed. We can get additional activity through the front of that quad, and maybe even more strength out of the hip as well. Got 20 seconds. We're halfway through this. Breathing. Breathe in as you come down. Breathe out as you're coming back up. Breathe out as you're coming up. Give me 10 more seconds. Then we've got that 10 rest and that 20 pulse to follow. Good. Last few finished in 3. In 2, in 1. She's got 10 recovery. Shake it out. Breathe, recover. Are we working already? Phenomenal. That means you are in 2, in 1, down to the bottom, and just the pulse. Just the pulse. All right. So I can tell Sarah is feeling it right now because she won't give me the low. She won't give me the low. That's okay. That's her manageable approach right now. Okay, last few. Hang in there. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Next is our cardio on one side. Take your right foot forward, your left foot back. We're going to be bringing that knee up while the body stays crouched in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to extend my arms out and do a pull down with each of those knee lifts. And we're going to keep that knee in front nice and bent. Weight in that forward leg. There we go. Good. So maintaining balance and strength in that forward leg. Right? Tightening the core to wake up more and get more out of our activity. You've got 10 seconds left. Good. Slow it down if you need to. That's cool. That's cool. No problem. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Come down to the floor. Next up, we're going to do our bird dog. Do you all feel like Sarah does right now? I think she's hit a legitimate wall. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, it's all good. That's a good burn. And now the legs get a break. It's the bird dog opportunity from here. So opposite hand and leg lifting up together, and then hand and knee touching below and opening back up. You got it. So we'll start in 10. We'll start in 10. Don't start quite yet. Got a little recovery, a little breather time. Okay, start to get back ready in 3, in 2, in 1. Stick to one side. You get that little crunch down. And Sarah's going elbow to knee at the bottom, so that's where she's getting her little tap, top half of the body to bottom half. Some cool things to feel through this. Well, first off, this is a good way to mobilize and strengthen kind of the lumbar spine, so that middle low back area. So we definitely want to feel kind of the glute, the shoulder, the posterior chain of that body working at the top. But another cool thing you might notice is as you're reached out very far, can you feel your abs stretching? That gives us the full range here. I love it. In 3, in 2, in 1. We rest for 10. We're going to stay on the same side and pulse for 20s. This is going to keep the leg up as well as the arm. We'll start in 3, 2, and 1. We stay up. We've got just that minute pulse of both the heel and the hand. Good. Breathe in steadily. Find your breath. Let's keep it consistent. Can we breathe in deeply through here? Finished up in 3, 2, 1. It's 10 seconds of rest. We switch to the next side. Full range of motion coming up next. Let's get started in 3, in 2, in 1. You're all the way up and you find the crunch below. There we go, there we go. Now finding extension through the reach, not only in the hand but the heel. Okay? Let's make both the leg and the arm reach out a little bit extra. Let's feel that stretch through the belly with that reach. Can you feel that in front? Good. And then finding your breathing. Where is your in and where is your out? If you want to do it perfectly, as you lift up, breathe in. As you crunch down, breathe out. Go finished in 3, 2, 1. We pulse for 20. And then we go plank punches as cardio to follow. First pulse in 3, 2, 1. Lift up and stay up. You got 20 seconds right here. So this is that great opportunity once again to kind of find the posterior chain. I want her glutes to be working and I want her shoulder and I want her to think and find and feel that. I want you all to do the same out there as well. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Our cardio is plank position and punches from here. Manageable option is on the knees. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. So here and throw in one strong punch at a time. As you punch, breathe out. Remember, this is my more manageable approach. My butt is not back here. My hips are forward, which is really going to wake up that core more. Good. Steady breathe in. We got ourselves 10 seconds left here. Last 10 seconds. Perfect. Finish it up in 3, in 2, in 1. That's it. Take that breather. Well-earned breather. Woo! Few high fives. Who's around? Give them some love. Remember, follow the elbow for the best high five possible. Little key. All right, so we'll do it all again. I don't know if you're as looking forward to it as Sarah is for her upcoming Bulgarian split squats. I'm looking forward to it. I might just take my phone out and do a little filming as we're getting into this. Oh, we're already filming it. Okay, never mind. Sounds good. Okay, folks. Well, let's get ourselves back into position. Bulgarian split squat. If you want any weight, you can add it. If you want the body weight, you're set to go. We start in 10 seconds here. And let's identify that foot in front and make sure that we got the weight in front. In 3, in 2, in 1, showtime, all the way down, all the way up. And let's put that breathing. Breathing in, coming down, breathe it out, coming up. My more manageable approach, we're here. That back foot is just on the floor. We're working through that split lunge.
I don't remember what foot I did.
Doesn't matter.
You
did
have
them
one
both.
strong butt cheek?
Oh, you mean on the cardio?
On this.
On this one, you did them both.
We did both legs?
Yeah, come on, man. Where are you at?
I don't know.
Good Lord.
I'm losing it.
And clearly. All right. In 3, in 2, in 1. Rest for a few. Then we go the pulse on the same leg. Begin it in 3, in 2, in 1. Or staying at that down point. Good, so if you didn't notice that out there, if you were just jumping into it, Sarah found herself too extended forward and she did a little bit of a hop back. I kind of encourage you to do that. You don't want to be split out wide on this one. You're going to be slightly more condensed. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Stand up, shake it on out. Get ready, we got to switch. Next side is coming up, full range of motion. Let's get started. In 3, in 2, in 1. Showtime! The star of the show. Take it from here, Sarah.
This is tough.
I know, it's getting warm in here. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. I'm sweating. All right, now being mindful of that knee in front, right? Let's not allow that knee to go in at all. We want to keep it to the outside, keep you safe, and keep that hip working. We've got final few. Don't give up on me quite yet. We go finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Recover for 10. It's pulse next. If you need to take that foot off the elevated part and be on the floor, you can. In 3, in 2, in 1. Get to the bottom point, and then just that small up and down. Okay? Same thing, knee reflection. Don't let that knee go in. Keep that knee a little bit out. Keep yourself safe. Build your strength the right way. Take breaks as you need, and then come back and finish strong. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. We go cardio with our left leg out in front. Left leg out in front. Right leg back. Hands out in 3, 2, 1. Those quick knees and that good arm pull down. You can breathe out each time that knee lifts. There we go. Find a rhythm and knock it out. This should be starting to hit that heart rate. Let's get it high. Let's get our challenge. And then right after this, we've got a break of 40 seconds to follow. Now we got about 5 seconds left. Don't give up. Hit the finish line. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Recover for 40. The legs get a break. You come down to the floor. It is Birddog next. Birddog coming up. You're doing great over there.
It hurts.
You know, I do like, and I say this on the videos oftentimes, I do like when she's real, and you guys can see that not everyone on these workout videos is just able to rock through this. When it's tough movements, take small breathers as you need to. Okay? All right, so we've got ourselves about 10 seconds. So let's get ready to get into the Birddog. It's the full range of motion of the arm and lift, the arm and leg, as well as the tap below. In 2, in 1, lift up, and find that little crunch and tap at the bottom of that Birddog here. Now, if we want to put our breathing into it, we want to breathe in and lift up. We want to breathe out and crunch. Breathe in and lift up. Breathe out and crunch. Cool. 20 seconds. Let's find reach through the hand as well as the foot. There we go. So form and control with this movement. Really, really key to lock it in. Let's go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. We'll pulse on the same side next. Pulse on the same side to follow. And get ready to lift in 3, 2, lift and hold. Small pulses at the top. Good. So once again, posterior chain, the back of the body is our focal point here. Can you find and feel those different posterior muscles working together? In 2, in 1, recover for 10. We switch to the next side for the full range of motion again. We get started in 3, in 2, and lift and crunch. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and lift, breathe out and crunch. All right. Now, keeping your eyes kind of down on the mat in front of you. We don't want the eyes or the head to be tilted high up. Think if your spine is going to stay straight, You would want to keep kind of the eyes just looking straight down at the floor, not looking at the knees or the hands, but just above the hands. Okay, last few. Finished in 3, in 2, and rest for 10. Pulse to follow. After pulse, then we've got those plank punches to finish this out. In 3, in 2, in 1. Up to the top and pulsing. Light, small pulsing, but still finding posterior muscles. Back of the body muscles working. 10 seconds here. And steady breathe. In, out, in, out. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. That's good. We go plank punches to finish out cardio. Get set, elbows, hands, or knees. In 3, in 2, in 1. Create one strong punch and breathe out with that punch each and every time. Beyond that, stable. Stable with the body. Don't let too much rocking occur here. Good, good. Last few. We got ourselves 10 seconds remaining. Focus in. Finish to the best of your ability, folks. Powerful with that punch. Steady with that body. We go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. There we go. You are halfway through your workout already. Let's do a little high five work through here. Nice job, folks. Bulgarian split squats are one of the best single strength building movements that you can do through the leg. Not only because it's a powerful movement, but also because it makes you isolate and balance a lot through the hip. So there's a reason why we consistently put those in, and it's not just to kill you, it's to actually make you stronger and better. Now, we've got Tabata coming up, so we've got 5 movements that we're going to show you. Remember, our first 2 movements, as well as our last movement, are done on each side. And we're going to have you use an option of a moderate weight and a handheld weight, because we're going to hold the weight on the single side. So 3 options on my end: a water bottle, something with a handle, so I've got that detergent, or I could use kind of a thicker, heavier book. So I'm going to use the book as I demo through here. We're going to start out with a suitcase squat, which means a squat with the weight on one side. And then we're going to do a curl and a press at the top. So both arms are extended out. We're going to sit into that squat. We're going to come up and then curl and press and bring it right back down. We stay on one side for 20 seconds. Then you get that 10 seconds of rest, and then we switch over to the second side. Following that, your next 2 movements are going to be a step back lunge with a chop. So I'm going to give you the forward angle. Sarah's going to give you the side angle. We're going to have our left foot stepping back into our lunge. So we're going to start together and then step back, bringing the weight to the inside, and then opening that weight to the outside at the top. So coming down into the lunge and going cross body with that chop at the top. Okay, so remember that weight's going to go by the side that has the leg stepping back. More manageable approach, you just go about halfway down into that lunge. You don't need to get super low into the knees if you can't take that. You come down to the floor next, and we're going to do our combo movement we've done a few times. This is going to have us do a little posterior lift, so we're flat on our chest here. We lift everything up as well as the heels and hands, and then we push the hands underneath the shoulders and press the body back in a downward dog. We lower back forward all the way flat to the floor, lift everything up, and then hands under shoulders and push back to that nice downward dog position. From there, we're going to turn it around, put the legs straight up in the air. We're going to go opposite pinky to opposite pinky toe. Kind of nice side to side reaches and breathing out with each. And then we finish up in a side plank kind of clam-like position. So I'm going to turn towards you. I'm going to do this on my elbow. I like this one best underneath my elbow. I'm going to stack my feet as well as my knees. So I've got a 90-degree bend between my legs. I'm going to come all the way down with even my top arm, and then as I lift up the hips, I lift up the knee, and I lift up the arm. Everything comes back down towards the floor. Everything opens and pulls back at the top. So not only is my shoulder and my back muscle working, but the outside of my hip should be working, and the underside of my core, those obliques, should be active as well. We'll do that on each side. Once we're done with that, we'll go 2 more times. You got 3 rounds. First opportunity is a good time to learn. Second and third opportunity are great times to really start to push the pace into what you're doing. So you've got an optional weight, moderate weight, something that you can hold with a single hand, so you can do this suitcase squat first. We will start you in 10 seconds. Squat position, weight in one side, both arms extended from the body. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. One squat down, that curl, that press, and then that bringing it right back into it. Now monitor your knees through that squat, right? Don't let those knees cave in. If you can keep them pulling out just a little bit, you should absolutely feel that those hips on the outside are working harder. In 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and switch the hands. Prepare, same thing on the next side. Both arms extended off as you start. In 3, in 2, in 1. One squat, one curl, one press. Good. Find steady breathing, find those heels working, and make these successful squats. After this, we've got the step back lunge to the chop. You're going to keep the weight coming up. In 3, 2, and 1. Now get ready to step backwards to a lunge. That weight's going to go by the side and then lift up to the next corner. In 3, 2, 1. Step back lunge and lift. Good, and maybe you're bending that back knee a little bit more if you want to get deeper into the lunge and get more out of the movement. Or if you need to take it a little bit easier, kind of keep that back leg straight. Make things slightly easier on you. In 3, in 2, in 1. We recover for 10, next side coming up. Yeah, work into where it does best for you. In 3, in 2, in 1. Do a good lunge. And then come up with some power now. Let's start to use that forward leg. Drive us back up.
Straight.
Yeah, lift to your left side at the top. Good, so the weight goes down by the right side, you lift up to the left or vice versa. In 2, in 1. Go ahead and put the weight down, go flat to the floor. You've got the full body lift on the bottom, and then we push to the downward dog. In 3, 2, 1. Now, more manageable option, you lift up and then you push back to child's pose. Okay, so if you need that more manageable option, still create the lift and then hips to heels and go back to that child's pose to make it through. Perfect. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it around. Give me L-shaped position next. Feet above the hips, feet a little wide. Pinky to pinky. In 2, in 1. She got pinky finger to pinky toe. Opposites and crossing. As she lifts up, breathe out. Lift up, breathe out. Good. And then lastly, anchoring through that low back like we talked about with the bicycles earlier on today. In 3, in 2, in 1. To her side, kind of that side plank, but it's clamshell as well. So the knees and the ankles are stacked. We start in 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way down and open everything up. Okay, lower it down and then really open at the top. Nice thing about the opening is what can you feel? Can you feel that shoulder blade behind you getting some strength? Can you feel that up and outside hip working? In 3, in 2, in 1. Let's turn it. Let's switch it. Opposite side. Then we take a small breather. Set right back up. Let's get going in 3, in 2, in 1. All the way down and then opening at that top. There we go. Lower the hip as you come down now. Bingo. Great. So the hip will drop and then the hip will lift through that motion. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. That's good. We give you a small breather, quick sip of water. Tabata 1 of 3 is in the books. Now hopefully we've all learned it, and hopefully you're ready to attack it in rounds 2 and 3 coming up here. All right, so coming up and going back to the top, we've got that suitcase carry squat curl press, and then we follow that with that lunge in that chop. We'll start you in 10 seconds. Let's get set up. Squat position to begin. Both arms extended out, and then curl and press. In 3, in 2, in 1. You work that good squat, and let's just start pushing pace right here if you're feeling good. Let's try to get the most out of our remaining time here. Core tight. It's steady breathing. Where's your in? Where's your out? Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Switch those hands. Keep that stance. All right, up tall in 3, in 2. let's go. There we go. So finding stability and making sure those knees are in the right position, making sure those heels feel the weight. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. It's the step back lunge with the chop to follow. Step back lunge with the chop to follow. Make sure you got room to step back. In 3, in 2, in 1. The weight goes to the back leg side and then lifts across the body. Good. Power in that front leg. As you stand up, it is with power now as we keep working through these. In 3, in 2, in 1. Recover for 10, switch coming up. After this, we'll go to the floor. In 3, in 2, in 1. Step it back, weight to the back leg side. Weight swings by the behind leg side. And then you're powerful as you stand. There we go. Last few. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Weight down to the floor, flat on the floor. The full body lifting up behind, and then that downward dog press or child's pose. In 3, 2, 1. Everything lift, and push back and stretch. Awesome. Remember, more manageable. You push the hips back by the heels for that child's pose on the in-between as opposed to that downward dog. In 3, in 2, in 1. We turn ourselves around, legs straight up into the air. Feet a little bit apart. Opposite pinky finger to opposite pinky toe. In 2, in 1. Let's go. When you lift up, breathe out. Lift up, breathe out. It should be a series of quick breaths. Last few, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Sarah's going to grab a weight for this. It is that side plank clamshell. Bend your knees, stack them, and stack those feet. In 3, in 2, in 1. Everything down, everything up. The hips come down, and then the hips lift up, as well as, of course, that knee and that arm. Good. Breathe in, coming down. Exhale and lift. Breathe in, coming down, exhale and lift. In 2, in 1. Let's turn it, let's switch it. One more here. Breather to follow. Beginning in 3, in 2, game on, let's go. Good. Lift up and you breathe out, right? Continue to find that breath with the movement. We're really building proprioception of how we perfectly do these exercises. Last few, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Break time and recover. You got less than a minute to recover. Final round to follow. Woo! That's it, folks. You got one round remaining right here. Let's all just quickly get a nice full inhale in and a long exhale out. Feel the neck muscles go down, shake it out a little bit, stay loose up top. Let's make this last round as successful as you can. Now, once again, check in with yourself. How do you feel? If a movement is bothering you, can you substitute something, or can you take it easy and work your way around? Last round coming up. We want that moderate weight and that handheld weight. We want the squat to start. Suitcase squat with that curl and press. We start in 10, ladies and gentlemen. Final round is coming up. Let's make it count. Starting in 3, in 2, let's go. Give me that perfect squat, and then let's get that weight up and going. Okay, a little strong as we bicep curl and shoulder press, and then sitting right back into it. Depth with the squat. If you've got it, add it. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Switch those hands. Stay tall up top. Stay active by having those arms out. We get more activity by extending. In 3, in 2, in 1. Pop it down, pop it up. Let's keep on moving. Keep on the hustle. There we go. Find the heels, right? Power through the heels means we're integrating hamstrings and glutes. Last few, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. It's the step back lunge next, and we've got that chop with that weight. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. Step it back, weight to the back leg side. And let's start to bring the weight as well as the body up with a little oomph. A little power through that forward leg and a little strength through the lift of those arms and shoulders. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Recover, next side coming up. After this, we'll be going to the floor. Step it back in 3, in 2, in 1. Step it back, and then rip it on up. Start to really give me the power into what you're doing, and let's find the heel as the source of where that power pushes through. There we go. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's put the weight down flat to the floor, everything lifting up and then getting in to that downward dog. In 3, in 2, in 1. Everything lifts and then press it on back. Love it. I love how far back she goes. She really tries to push kind of her chest backwards at this bottom point, and that's going to open up a bigger stretch not only through the front but also through the back of those legs. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's turn it around, legs up into the air, little split between the feet, opposite pinky fingers to opposite pinky toes begins in 3, in 2, in 1. Lift up and breathe out. There we go. Anchor the low back here. Can you ground the low back? There we go. Last few, folks. Keep that breathing, and we go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. We finish with that side plank clam opener. 1 on each side. If you want to add the weight, grab the weight, set it up in 3, in 2, in 1. Everything goes down, and as everything lifts up, breathing out. Everything goes down, breathe out and lift. There we go. Feel that shoulder behind you. Feel that hip above you. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it, switch it. Last little bit, set right back up. Beginning in 3, in 2, in 1. All the way down and all the way up. Good. Go ahead and lift up and breathe out. Put that breathing into it, and let's find the last bit of muscle work that we can today. All right, finished up in 3, in 2, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. You can put that weight down. You can give yourself a little pat on the back. You can high-five somebody cool around you. You just wrapped up another workout. Workout number 24 in the bank. Jeez, we're getting up there. Before you know it, we're going to be in our 30s. And then we're going to be starting to feel a lot of aches and pains. I think once the 30s hit, we're going to be feeling it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a little bit of stretching. So where I want to start is your choice of either on your back or in a seated position. We're going to do that figure 4 stretch from here. So Sarah's going to be on her back and show you that option. I'm going to be in that seated position. Wherever you're at, opposite ankle on the opposite knee. And then move yourself in if you're seated to make it a deeper stretch. Whatever you're doing, also flex your toes, right? So flex the foot, have the toes pointing north. Or just up, I should say. Okay, and then let's start to cool into the breathing. How can you deepen and expand the breath into the belly? As you exhale, kind of finding a larger breath going out. Let's do that one more time. Belly breath, good breath in. That long exhale out. We'll go ahead and just switch it over. So if you need to move around a little bit from that seated position, you can. And you can figure out where it's going to work well for you. I wanted to talk to everybody today about recovery. And I think oftentimes in training, recovery goes kind of dormant as far as people's level of importance in their training regimen. And so oftentimes we don't think of recovery is really being what is making us stronger or getting us to that more fit level, when in actuality it really is. So let's go ahead and breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly. We'll unwind the legs, we'll bring the bottoms of the feet together, and we'll get into our butterfly stretch next. So, I mean, we do our training classes just like this, going outside, doing runs or bikes, and what we're doing is breaking down the body, right? We're challenging the body, we're putting physical stresses underneath it that it's not used to, and it in turn responds by adapting to those stresses that it's been placed under. Well, the body is not able to actually adapt and make itself stronger if there's insufficient recovery associated with their days, their weeks, and even their months of training. Big inhale in, long exhale out. We're going to undo from here, and we're going to get into our quad stretch. So kneeling position, and I'm going to start out with my right knee down and my left foot out in front. I'm going to place my hands out in front, and then I'm going to really lean into this, pushing the hips forward. And if we're feeling good, you might bring that foot up and reach back with your opposite hand to increase that quad stretch. So I wanted to talk about kind of the various stages of exercise and recovery as well, because to say, you should recover more, well, there's appropriate times in a variety of sequences in which recovery is key. And the first of those is recovery between sets. So in the middle of a workout, allowing yourself a little bit of time for your heart rate to come down, something that we do, but also something that we mix in low rest recovery, like our Tabata, so that we get more physical demand placed out of the movement. Let's go ahead and drop that foot down. Let's bring the next knee down, and we'll step back out, and we'll switch it up. So either here with both hands leaning into that forward leg, or reaching back with the opposite hand towards the opposite toes. So first off, you can kind of work on recovery between your movement exercises. If you're doing really heavy or super challenging work, it's a good idea to have some rest sets of 1, 2, 3 minutes in between, so your body can have the appropriate energy to hit maximal effort when required. Nice big inhale, nice long exhale. Let's drop the foot down. And the next up, we're going to get into our kneeling position on both knees, and we're going to sit back onto the heels. We're going to take one hand, bring it to the floor, and the other hand is going to reach up and overhead, and we're going to hold this here. So another point in time for recovery would be post-workout, and that would be what we're doing right now, where we finished the overall workout. Now we're finding time for stretching or foam rolling, and so it's really applicable after that because the muscles are tight, and you don't want them to stay tight all day. We want to loosen them up so that blood flow can come in and assist the recovery process. Let's go nice big inhale in. We'll exhale, we'll bring this hand down, we'll switch it over. Next side with that nice reach. And as you're breathing, let's focus on rib expansion happening through our breath here. So our post-workout is super important for recovery. And then I wanted to take a look at the bigger picture of weeks or months of training as well. You shouldn't be training 6-7 days on end in a row. You need a day of rest into there. And if you don't have that amount of rest into there, your body's going to be breaking itself down more than it is building itself up. Nice big inhale in and long exhale out. We're going to come to an upright position. We're going to finish with our neck stretches today. So one hand behind you, and then the other, just that hand is pulling the head a little to the side and a little bit forward, so we get posterior neck, get into the back of that neck, which typically tends to be a pretty tight area for us. So, making sure that in any given week, you're having 1 to 2 days of rest. And recovery at that point for like a type A personality could be maybe just going for a slow walk or doing like a light yoga session, but allowing yourself to not always just be in the grind day in and day out. I think that also goes for our stress levels and with work. Let's breathe in deeply. Let's exhale and release and switch. So if you think about, 5 days a week of work, or maybe even more for some of us, that's a lot of training time. That's a lot of time of being put into a stressed environment. Well, allow yourself recovery at the end of the week as well to really get your mind right, to get your brain and your body right. Last thing I'll say about this in recovery, especially in kind of this longer term, is working on some meditation can be a really, really great way to get your brain to recover as well as the physical recovery, which we talk about with things like stretching or foam rolling. All right, everybody, make sure to recover after this. Treat yourself well. The best form of recovery is adequate sleep. So get yourself some good sleep tonight, and we will see you very, very soon, a little bit later on this week with some more workouts.